So, welcome to another class of conflict management and public relations. Now, last time we looked at public opinion. We looked at the types of public and how public opinion is formed, or and how it changes. Basically, how it's formed is how it changes. Now, if you remember, we mentioned that public opinion consists of opinions that are held by people of a smaller or larger community about a particular problem at a certain time. Now, as conflict students in public relations, you know that your aim, or one of your aims, is to ensure there's a harmonious relationship between your organization and its public. And one of the ways you can do that is by monitoring and understanding public opinion and what it is and how it can affect your organization. So these are opinions that are held by smaller people, smaller or larger group of people about a particular problem at a certain time. And we mentioned that public opinion changes over time. So public opinion of one thing today may be different, and how it can change also depends on what you as a public relations personnel you do about it. We also looked at some types of public by Groening and Hunt. We looked at the latent public, aware public, active, and non-publics. And then we also went ahead to look at some more divisions of publics that was given by Groening, like apathetic public, all issue public, hot issue public, single issue public. I'm sure you remember all of that. And then we also looked at how public opinion is formed. We looked at three key ways by which public opinion is formed. We said one of the main ways is the media. What they get from the media becomes a value or an opinion that they hold over time. And then we also said opinion leaders. These are people who are experts because of their interest or knowledge in a particular subject matter. But sometimes too, somebody can be an opinion leader for another person, basically based on their relationship or how that person A views person B. So person B may not necessarily be an expert in that particular topic, but generally, if person A has respect or reverence for person B, whatever the person says in a certain field, person A might listen. One thing that's common, for instance, in our jurisdiction is when it comes to, let's say, religion. A pastor may not be an economist or may not be an architect, but some church members would listen to their pastor's suggestion as to what they should do about their finances or what they should do about their buildings or however. So even if a government is saying do this and the opinion leader is saying this is what I think you should do, the person may listen to their opinion leaders. And then we also talked about schema. That is a group of already held beliefs that people use to examine a subject, their experiences over time, and how it affects their perception of any other new thing that they encounter. So if you have any questions, you can put it down there in the comment section, and then going forward, we will look at it. Let us look at what we have for today. Let us look at what we have for today. Now, today we are looking at public relations and environmental issues. Public relations and environmental issues. Now, indeed, in the last couple of decades, issues concerning the environment have become one of the main channels by which organizations have conflicts with their public. Yes, 20, maybe even longer than 20 years ago, maybe 40, 50 years ago, the awareness or consciousness of the society when it comes to environmental issues was not as sharp or was not as prevalent as it is today. So today, as any company is working, they are also looking at how they can help save the environment, or if they are not, it is something that they should look at. Now, what we're going to look at in this class is to see what is expected of us as public relations personnel when it comes to environmental issues. We're also going to look at some challenges that some companies have faced because of their not paying attention to environmental issues, and what we can do as public relations in Ghana. What we can do as public relations in Ghana. So as you can see from our cartoon over here, this executive, he's telling these people, how can anyone say our factory isn't green? Most of our waste is that color. So he says his waste is green, so it means that the company is green. This is a funny joke from cartoon stock. It's on a lighter note. Now, let's kick off. Let's see. Now, Milton Friedman, or Friedman, he is a famous economist, somewhere in 1970. Now, Friedman wrote an essay to the New York Times, and what Friedman was saying, Milton Friedman was saying, is that a company's obligation is to its shareholders. Like, as a company, when you're set up, the aim of your company is to make sure your shareholders make money. You are not supposed to be concerned about non-shareholders, your customers, or whoever or whatever people are thinking. It is your shareholders, the people who put money in your business. They are the ones that you should take care of, or you should be concerned about. Now, this ideology got a lot of support in the business environment, and so because of that, a lot of companies now focused more on, what am I doing? Am I making money? Am I earning enough to ensure my shareholders are happy? That was the theory that was moving along. But as the society progressed, we came to realize, is it really true? And that's something that you can also, judge on. Is it really true that a company's obligation is only to its shareholders? Now, let's see what Jack Welch thought. Now, Jack Welch was the CEO of General Electric. I think he retired somewhere in 2001. Now, Jack Welch was one of the people who supported Milton Friedman's ideology that your focus should be on the shareholders and not on any other thing, making the money. But so in the 90s, Jack Welch, in fact, he has the title of, I think somewhere in 2005 or so, he was named by Forbes as the greatest CEO of the century. I mean, that's how big a deal he is, Jack Welch. He was going according to Friedman's theory, but as the years progressed, even after his retirement from General Electric, he realized that there's a problem with focusing only on shareholder value. So Jack Welch, somewhere in 2009, even said that focusing on shareholder value is, I'm quoting him, is the dumbest idea that he has come up, the dumbest idea in the world. So he says that he has realized that shareholder value is a result, not a strategy. So when he says the result, he means that it is an end goal, but it is not a strategy. So the main focus of companies should be their employees, their customers, their products. And then in the long run, it will result, that's why he's saying it's a result and not a strategy. It will result in shareholder value. That's what Jack Welch said. So now a lot of companies look at doing well by doing good, or some say doing good while doing well. Well, when we say doing well, basically we are talking about the success of the company. And then when we say doing good, we are talking about your philanthropic or your social responsibility activities or CSR activities that you undertake as an organization. So what we're saying is, if we say doing well by doing good, what we mean over here is that you are succeeding in your business by going by what's the word, by engaging in philanthropic activities, making people feel positive about you and your organization. So that's what they're doing good. So when you're doing well, you are doing good, you're doing well. So that is that. And then when you say doing good while doing well, basically it's the same idea. You are doing philanthropic activities, but through your philanthropic activities, you are succeeding. Why is that? Because people love companies that show or exhibit that they are thinking about them. So when people feel that your customers feel you think about them, you think about the environment, you think about the society, how things would affect them, they also think about you. So that's why we're saying doing well by doing good. So when we talk about environmental focus, or when we're talking about environment, of course, these are some of the big names that come to mind. We have Friends of the Earth, we have the United Nations, the Environmental Program, UNEP, we have Greenpeace. There are a lot of NGOs that have been set up across the world and even here in Ghana that focus on fighting, or if you don't want to use fighting, creating awareness of the environment and why it is necessary for organizations to focus not only on their business but also on the environment and how they can help. Now, we'll look at in a minute why they think people should look at the company should look at the environment. Some of the things that they talk about, these NGOs, when it comes to the environment, there are a lot of things, but some of the things that have become very common are carbon emissions. That's carbon emissions coming from cars and coming from factories, the smoke that goes up there. Says, you remember destroying our ozone layer and all that. And then another issue that they often talk about is the issue of plastic waste. And in today's presentation, we'll even see mention of some of these things in there. And I'm sure you would find some of them as you go around reading and then discussing with your colleagues. Now, mind you, each country may have a particular environmental issue that is prevalent in their country. So you may go to Kenya and NGOs may focus on a particular environmental issue because that is what is worrying them. You go to Botswana and then the issue may be different. However, these are common ones that run through: carbon emissions, plastics. So now let's see what's in the next slide. Now, the question is, what should we as public relations do? Now, in public relations, when it comes to environmental issues, we say that the reason we get involved is because we want to promote sustainability. We want to promote sustainability. Now, to pursue sustainability is to create and maintain the conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony to support present and future generations. So, in fact, what we are saying is we as public relations personnel in the organizations, when we promote sustainability, the reason we are promoting sustainability is because we want to ensure, or we know, that the future of our organizations, our business, is dependent on the future of the world as a whole. Because if global warming is causing ice caps to melt and we are losing land, if our waters are being polluted, it all affects activities, every activity in general. So we as organizations believe, or as peers in the organization, we believe that when we are promoting sustainability, what we are doing is we are ensuring that the land or the world that we live in does not collapse so that our businesses can go on. And any shrewd businessman would pay attention to promoting sustainability. because that is what is going to ensure that your future generations also get going. Now, when we engage in sustainability, what it does is it builds trust between us as organization and the public. It creates better relationships with them. And even in the situation where there's a crisis, you often have the sympathy of the public because the public see you as an organization that cares for them or that cares about them. So you take, for instance, the Despite group. In this era of Corona, I think there was news. The news item said they had donated about $200,000 or is $100,000 to Konfanochi Teaching Hospital to help in the fight against COVID-19. And a lot of people were excited, like, oh my God, we know this man is rich, and we are happy that he has shown love and care by giving out. Because he knows that if everything collapses, his company also collapses. So people feel he has love for the nation or for the people. So imagine if there is any issue right now and they say, oh, this thing has happened at Peace FM or this thing has happened at OK or any of the stations, how the society would react to it will be measured because they will always juxtapose that against what they know about the company, the image you have as a company, as a loving company, as a company that cares about the people. So when you have a crisis, people often do not talk about it as much. They go like, oh, I mean, this thing, maybe it was an oversight. They are not like that, those kind of things. So it helps. Yes, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, it is necessary to ensure the future of any business. Now, what are some public relations personnel what are some companies doing to exhibit their fight for the environment, if I may put it that way? Now, we look at Apple, the company Apple. Yes, Apple. Now, Apple in 2008, according to their progress report, they say that they now have attained 100% renewable energy in all their facilities. Now, so what this means is that in all their facilities around the world, they are using renewable energy. They are using renewable energy. So they are thinking about the environment, and they have decided now to help our portion in helping the environment is having 100% renewable energy in all our facilities. Now, you look at this picture over here too. This is for Papa John's. It's a pizza joint in US, and what they have done is they say that they realize that bees are very important when it comes to pollination. Your little science that you remember, what pollination, how insects also help in pollination and how they help the ecology. So what they have realized was that because a lot of trees and a lot of flowers are being destroyed or cut down, the bees often do not get sources of food. So what they have done is they have created pizza for bees. Now, so this, as you see in this picture, this is a small box of pizza that they actually did, and you see the bee sitting on it. Yes, this is a pizza for bees. They put the ingredients are ingredients that are friendly to the bees, things that they love to eat, and then attracts them. And then so they say that is their portion or what they are doing to ensure that the survival of the bees. Now, a number of companies have also taken steps. I think McDonald's also have it such that their billboards have certain, should I say, holes in them. So what happens is the bees or other insects can create or make a home behind their billboards, you know. So that's what they are also doing in their bid to support the environment. Now we have Carlsberg, maybe a Carlsberg. Now what you see here is a paper bottle. So Carlsberg for some years now have been um, toying with the idea of making paper bottles rather than the glass or the plastic bottles because of, again, the environment. I mentioned that plastics are one of the uh, main focuses of environmental activists. So what they want is a paper that after you throw it away, if it even finds itself wherever, it can degrade. Now, this is not out yet from what I gather, but they are still testing it. But you see, it is all about the intent and what they have thought of, what they want to do for the society or for the environment. So again, this is something positive that Carlsberg is undergoing. So remember, what we are looking at is what some companies are doing PR-wise to let the public know that they are focused on sustainability and they are here to stay and they want to ensure the environment is safe. Now, this campaign you see over here, this Save Our Planet campaign, this was started by BBC One. Now, what they did was they encouraged people to return who went to purchase things from the malls or the shopping centers to return plastic packaging and write notes on it, Save Our Planet, to change the kind of packaging you give us. We don't want plastic anymore because it is not useful to us or to the environment. So you see an example over here where somebody writes Save Our Planet, hashtag I think our plastic something. I think you can go and read more about it. But basically what BBC One was doing was telling people return these things, let the shopping malls or the supermarkets know that we're tired of them providing us with devices or materials that destroy our environment. Now, this campaign received a lot of attention. A lot of people in Britain were returning plastic packaging to shops. Now, again, remember, this is the image that BBC One wants to create for themselves. And apart from that, they are helping us save the environment. Now, this campaign over here, you see, was initiated by, I think, Greenpeace. Now, what they did was they went to a beach in South America. I think it was in Brazil. And this you see here is plastic from just a day, one day of people coming to the beach. So they gathered all the plastic and then they made a wall with the plastic. So the next day, it blocked people from having access to the beach. Now, this is something they did overnight, but you can see it's a whole lot of plastic. So what they are telling the people is, if you don't stop littering the beaches today, tomorrow the plastics that you are littering the beaches with will stop you from coming to the beach. That's why they built the wall, to stop people from going to the beach in that moment, just to create awareness or consciousness of the dangers of plastic. Now, another thing we want you to look at. Now, this video was made by um, an automobile manufacturing company. Now, I think I want you to watch it, and then after that, we'll discuss it. So here goes. Yeah. So this is a fantastic idea from Renault. Now they brought the discount billboard. Basically, what it does is they have created the Renault Zoe, which is an energy efficient vehicle, but people were saying it was expensive. So what they said was, we're going to create a billboard, and now this billboard is able to sense when the CO2 emissions in the environment goes up. So when the CO2 emissions in the environment goes up, the price of the car comes down, making it more affordable for uh, people to buy. Now, this is what we are talking about. So all that we have talked about, the examples that we have looked at with Greenpeace, we have looked at with Papa John's Pizza and all the others. Basically, what we are saying is these people or these companies, they are focusing on sustainability. They know and understand that for our organization to thrive, we need the earth to thrive. So we need to take care, or we need to protect our environment. And the whole thing too is, as they do this, people love them. Remember, doing well by doing good. So they are saving the environment, and then it affects people's perception about the company, about the company's products, about the company's services. Now, so with what Renault is doing, if Renault says we have a car that is energy efficient, that is this, that is that, because the people have the perception of Renault as a company that cares about the environment, they believe that the product that they have come up with is actually going to do what they say it's going to do. But if people don't see you care, so I'm repeating what I earlier said, if people don't see you care, they are not also going to care about you. Now, as a company, you may think, well, this is, or as a PR personnel, you may think, well, this is all well and good. This is nice. If your company has money and you can do it, let's do it. If your company feels, oh, this one will get us funds, let us do it. So let us do it. But you see, it is not just about the name, but it again, I repeat, this is about the sustainability. And if you are not careful as a company, as the world becomes more aware, more conscious of environmental pollution, your company will sink. What do I mean by your company will sink? Let's just look at what's happening over here. Now, we're looking at some environmental conflicts in PR. So basically, some challenges that some companies in the world have encountered because they did not exhibit care for the environment. So NGOs, pressure bodies or pressure groups came up against them. And these companies often, when this happens like that, you have negative image. People feel you don't care, and as and when they can, they stop purchasing from you. Now, Greenpeace, in collaboration with I think one or two other organizations, conducted a research. Now, with this research, what they were basically doing was they looked up about 49 countries, and they were collecting plastic waste. But apart from collecting the plastic waste, they wanted to count and see which company or which companies have the most amount of plastic waste littering our planet. And so this table, or this you see over here, is the result. So out of the about 49 countries, they realized that Coca-Cola had about 11,732 pieces of plastic, and they were found in 37 of the countries. Second was Nestle with 4,000. Now you see the gap. They still had 4,000 in 31 countries. Pepsi, yeah, and then Mondelez, Unilever, Mars. These are the top 10. But I think top 20 or so corporations. Now, when you as a public relations personnel, you don't become proactive and you wait for your company to get to such a state. What happens is whatever you do later, it appears, oh, so had we not said this, you would not have done that. So you don't appear to be somebody who cares for the environment, who cares for the people. So the image is not good. You come across as somebody who didn't care, but did it because you were forced. Especially if your company is not to the level of Coca-Cola and Nestle. And a lot of you listening to me today, in the next couple of years, may not immediately enter the Coca-Colas and the big names and have top positions. So right now, the positions you are going to be in or where you're going to find yourselves in, this will be a warning to you that with smaller companies, it is easier for the public to stop patronizing your goods. Yes, Coca-Cola, people will stop patronizing Coca-Cola as time goes on. But you see, the effect of it on Coca-Cola takes a long time. And I'll give you an example with Shell, where there were certain pressures on them to stop one or two things, but they kept on. Now, you check their revenue, and then you realize that even though people were threatening boycott of Shell, and some even actually did, it took a while for Shell to start feeling the effect. But they eventually feel the effect though. But when the company is smaller, the effects are felt sharper and quicker and earlier. So the advice is, if you're a smaller company, you need to get your things together now. But if you're with a bigger company, know that even if your organization, your executives are telling you they don't see how it is affecting them now, let them know that it is a gradual process. And when it gets to the peak, whatever they do at that time will just appear they are doing it because their backs are to the wall. Right. So this you see this photo over here. This is again, I think this is again, yes, by Greenpeace. So they went underwater, they saw this Coca-Cola bottle, and they said, Coca-Cola, is this yours? Is this yours? So they are asking Coca-Cola, what are you doing about this? Now, some may say that, but Coca-Cola makes the plastic bottles. Yes, they put the drinks in the bottles. Yes, but they are not the ones who throw it into the ocean. Indeed, that is true. Now, even though it is not Coca-Cola that throws the plastic into the bottle, what these pressure groups are saying, what these companies are saying is that you make these bottles. You can help the society by creating or making environmentally friendly containers so that wherever people find themselves, even if there is wrongful discard of the bottles, the environment would not suffer. So yes, the NGOs go ahead and then they encourage people, and then they of course you see these bins around encouraging the society or people to dispose of things well. But then the organizations also have a responsibility themselves to ensure that we all achieve this aim. So yes, the people are doing their bit, but the companies are also expected to do their bit. And your bit as a company is to ensure that the things you are producing are environmentally friendly. Now, so I talked about some environmental conflict in PR, and I mentioned Shell. Now, Shell and Lego, you know Lego, the children's plaything Lego. Yes, Shell and Lego had a partnership. The partnership was from somewhere 1960. Now, yeah, it started somewhere in 1960. Now, so what happened was Greenpeace told Lego that Shell is mining in the Arctic. And what it is doing is it is affecting the lives of people who live in those areas and wildlife in those areas. So now you see polar bears, and then the ice cap is melting, and this is happening, and that is happening. So Lego, show your commitment to the world's cause by severing or ending your partnership with Shell. That would be a strong message to Shell that what they are doing, mining for oil in those ice caps, is not a fantastic idea at all. Now, it took Lego some time to show any interest in what the NGOs were saying. So what Greenpeace did was they turned up the heat a notch. When I say they turned up the heat a notch, they came up with designs and messages to the world and to Lego. And this, we have an example over here that I'm going to show you, I'm going to play to you, and you would see how they were going about it. Now, so you see that if you are not proactive as a company, you force the hand of especially NGOs to take action, and then you look bad. You look like you do not care. And you don't want that image for your organization. Let's just look at this ad. So this is the Lego world. Everything is beautiful, all well, until Shell comes in. So that's the oil spill, of course. So what they are saying here is Lego is supporting Shell, and Shell is a company that is undertaking certain actions that's going to contribute to ending all of us, ending the human race. So you are telling Lego, end your partnership with Shell. Don't support a company that is not supporting the environment. And you may think, so a video and then what? But you see, because of this and other actions that Greenpeace and other companies, NGOs undertook, in 2014, Lego ended their partnership with Shell. Yeah. As I said, Greenpeace undertook a number of things. Do you know, one time they even blocked a gas station or a filling station with Lego toys. They went to pour Lego toys all over there. So people who wanted to go to the Shell filling station could not go because it was blocked by Lego toys. And they even got about 6 million people to sign a petition telling Shell to stop mining in the Arctic. And in the long run, it paid off. Now, over here in Ghana, you may think, but things are different. How many people will sign a petition to do this or do that? Remember that, as I said, the awareness or consciousness is gradually growing. Now, cast your minds back. Whenever there is an issue in Ghana, don't you nowadays see WhatsApp messages and people are saying, sign this petition, change.org, and then you see people forwarding to WhatsApp groups. Aha. So that is how it is growing. Eventually, things like gathering signatures would have millions of signatures over here in Ghana, just like it is happening in other parts of the world. But before Ghana gets to that level, oh, how fantastic it would be if you as an organization, you are already seen as somebody who is an organization that is concerned about the environment. Now, remember, when we say organization concerned about the environment, don't only look at organizations like mining and, let's say, construction, whose activities directly or clearly affect the environment. Even if you work in a media house and you think, well, what are we doing that really is affecting the environment? You don't need to be actually doing anything directly to be affecting the environment before you show care or concern for the environment. Remember, it is about your image, it is about sustainability, and it is about the future of your organization. Okay. So when Lego went ahead to leave Shell, Greenpeace did this creative Lego dumped Shell, and everything is awesome again. Remember the tune in the video you listened to, they were singing everything is awesome. That was Lego's campaign, and then they used that song. So now he's saying everything is awesome again. Thank you for dumping Shell. Now, I want us to quickly look at some job and task roles in environmental PR. Now, remember, as I said, this environmental PR idea is picking speed. And even though in our part of the world, you may not see it as strongly as it is in the Western world, if you decide to niche for yourself in such an area at this time, it would indeed help and position you before the environmental PR waves hit our part of the world. Now, as an environmental PR, the job basically, you find jobs in non-profits, NGOs like Greenpeace, non-governmental advocacy agencies. There are PR agencies that assist clients with sustainability and environmental communication. So maybe your PR agency that you want to set up, the focus will be on helping clients to engage in environmental PR. So you can also find job in local or state and federal government agencies, of course, because government agencies also communicate environmental concerns to the public. So if you're part of their team, you can find, you can find a job there as part of their team. And of course, private corporations. Now, basically the tasks of an environmental PR, media campaigns that you form, you develop and implement goals and objectives for environmental departments, you decide how to represent environmental business decisions to the public, you write grant proposals to attain funding for a department. That's especially if you're working for an NGO. Yeah, you are often required to write to get a grant, maybe from other bigger NGOs or from the government to fund your department. Now, why are we talking about this? Again, remember that as public relations personnel, there are many avenues for you. even though you're a public relations personnel, you can specialize in a niche, and one of the niches that I'm talking about is environmental public relations. And that is why I decided to let you know the job areas, the tasks that you are often expected to undertake in such a job area. And if you're already in public relations, even if it is not environmental public relations per se, wherever you find yourself in, remember that environmental issues are one of the main issues of conflict with the public, and preparing and showing your interest in the environment, interest in sustainability is key to ensuring your company's growth. Remember, when there was this issue of GMOs in Ghana, there are a number of NGOs or advocacy groups that stood up to fight against NGOs. What was the word? Yeah, so you heard that. I forgot to say yeah. So what I'm saying is, you as public relations personnel have a lot of opportunities available to you, and environmental PR is one of them. So yeah, look at that. Now I have an assignment for you. Yeah, I know you're excited about the assignment. What I want you to do is I want you to look at a company whose activities are causing environmental damage, design a creative that draws their mind to take action in repairing the harm they are causing. So you are assuming you are an NGO that is into environmental protection, and you have identified a company whose activities are causing environmental damage. And just like Greenpeace and Friends of the Earth and the other ones are doing, what you are going to do is you're going to come up with a creative. So your advertising skills are going to come up in here. You're going to come up with a creative, and what that is going to seek to do is to draw their minds or their attention to repairing the harm that they are causing. Now, I know that you have been given similar assignments either in the previous semester or the academic year, and I know who gave you those assignments. So if you decide to reproduce that assignment for me, it's not be fun. So please use new creatives. Use new creatives. All right. Thank you. And since this was direct and straight, sorry if there's a number of errors in there. This is a direct or a live recording. So, all right. Enjoy your day.